Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 197. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Emron Khan here as usual on a Sunday, and we have a special guest, Matt Reiser at Matty Daddy on or FF on Twitter. How are we doing, sir?
Oh, we're here. Hitting it hard, hitting it fast. Week 9, all those yum-yums. I'm at the Hizzy, baby. Let's get going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're ready to take off.
I love that energy, Matt. I love
Exciting
it.
Week 9.
Oh.
Appreciate you being here, sir. Appreciate you being here. Looking forward to another exciting Sunday. What do you guys got planned? Anything big or just sitting around watching football?
Yeah, I think that's the plan, man. It's always fun when the Bears don't play on a Sunday. Get to watch Red Zone all day, watch these games. A couple of good matchups, some intriguing ones too. So really looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
How about you, Matt?
Dude, Cowboys fan here. Hoping Dak plays. We're looking good. Back in the saddle. Pow, pow.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think that's going to be good. I think Dak's going to be all right. He was pretty close to starting last week, so I'm feeling pretty good about him. If anything, I'm more worried about like Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I know that they're going to be game time decisions, but we'll get to that here shortly. How's everybody's week going though? We're off to kind of a weird start from Thursday night. You know, you had the Colts like really running away from things, and then the Jets becoming a little bit more relevant there towards the end. Did you guys have a good start to Week 9?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the rookie Elijah Moore. That's kind of been stewing on those dynasty teams. Gotta love that. And if you're a Jonathan Taylor owner, he looks like what, RB1, RB2 in fantasy football. So pretty good feeling. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm playing from behind up against a couple of Wentz opponents, but I think I'm going to be all right. How about you, Emron?
Yeah, so I got a bad beat on a same game parlay. I had the GOAT Mike White in the parlay to hit over 274. He was on pace to crush it. I think he had like 95 in the first quarter. He went out. The other thing that's kind of weird too, Matt was talking about Elijah Moore. Why is it that every other quarterback except Zach Wilson looks very competent in that offense? It's very confusing. Josh Johnson hasn't played in 5 years, and he was just. I mean, I know they were playing behind, but looked better than Zach Wilson did in any game this year.
Yeah, well, Johnson's like the epitome of the sofa QB, right? Like, get off the couch, get in the game. He's going to be just fine, right? Like that's pretty normal. The Mike White stuff was interesting last week. He definitely threw one in my face up against the Bengals. Didn't appreciate that. Mike White did not appreciate that. I did not chase Mike White into Week 9. I stayed away. I took the Colts -10. I wouldn't say it was easy money because the Jets were trying to make a statement there towards the end of the game, trying to come back in garbage time. Yeah, but we still hit it. A winner is a winner, right? So we got some more winners available for you guys today. Let's jump into it right now. Let's go over our best props for this Sunday. Matt, we'll start with you. I know that you had a pretty good list there, and then we'll come to Emron, and I'll pop in. What do we got here?
Guys, easy money, baby. We want to make money, win money. Just keep it simple, keep it easy. Josh Allen versus Jacksonville. That dirty, dirty defense. Nobody's scared of it. Josh Allen's on the leading offense. Cash in on this, guys. Over 285 passing yards. Check. Double check. 33 rushing yards. Should be a smash play. Guys, Josh Allen, he's having an MVP-like season. This is his game. And then you also got Brandon Cooks. He's getting Tyrod back in the saddle. Going up against Miami. Nobody's scared of that defense either. If they're playing from behind, which is expected, smash that over 4.5 receptions, 65 yards. I'm loving it.
Love it. I have an opposite prop in that game. I'm actually going to Jalen Waddle over the 5.5. We got Devontae Parker headed to the IR. I like Waddle props. I like Gesicki, Gaskin. That game up against Tampa, he had a ton of receptions with Parker out of the matchup. So I like Waddle to go over 5.5, and I like Jerry Jeudy today to go over his number as well, over 4.5 receptions. He had 4 last week, but he was playing kind of on a limited basis in his first game back from injury. He had 6 in halftime week 1 before he exited with injury. This last week, he was 3rd on the team in snap counts. I expect that to go up. Actually, Tim Patrick last week led that receiving room and snap percentage. So I expect a little bit more opportunity for Jeudy in this one. So give me Jeudy over 4.5 and give me Jalen Waddle over 5.5 catches. What are you looking at, Emron? I know you got a big same gamer that you're working up here.
Yeah, I'm really all over the Cowboys versus the Broncos. So for this one, I did a couple of things in this one. I got 8, but I feel pretty good about them. I got CD
Okay.
Lamb and Zeke for anytime touchdowns.
Okay.
I got the Cowboys. I bought that spread down. It's a same gamer, so I've got them down to -3.5. Dak to have 2 passing touchdowns or more, over 230 passing yards, over 8 rushing yards, and then Cooper to get over 49 receiving yards. Hopefully he plays. Otherwise, just cancels out. No big deal. And then Teddy Bridgewater under 329 passing. It is 8 things, but I feel good about them. It's plus 1,200 odds, so $10 wins you 130, $100 wins you 1,300.
That number for Bridgewater is at 329.
It's an alternate thing, so you can buy
a
couple of things. Yeah. So I think the odds are a little bit low. Yeah.
What kind of value can I get on that alone?
Yeah. I mean, I really like that number, and especially I wouldn't bet it by itself because the value's not there. But when you're adding it to like something like this, where it's other things already involved, I felt pretty good about it because I just don't trust the Broncos at all.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been a little bit rough recently, but they got Judy back. I think they're going to be trying to pass a lot today. A little bit more advantage up against the passing defense of the Dallas Cowboys rather than the rushing attack. We got Joey Breen in the chat saying, "Good morning, guys. Who should I start? Mick Nichols, Tyler Boyd, or Kadarius Toney?" That's a tough one for me. I like Kadarius Toney a lot, though. McNichols, I'm just not certain. I don't have a ton of confidence. I want to see what we're getting. McNichols is a good matchup against the Rams, who I would expect would have a easier time combating Adrian Peterson on the ground. Maybe McNichols catches a few balls out of that backfield, but does he find pay dirt? I don't know. I like Toney to find the end zone this week. Who do you guys like here?
Well, I'll probably go Kadarius Toney as well. I like that matchup against the Raiders. McNichols, you have no idea what you're going to get. You don't know how they're going to split the backfield, so it's a big wild card. I'd probably go with Tyler Boyd second. I think he can do some action again in the slot against the Browns.
What do you think, Matt?
100%, man. It's a flex. It's not an RB start, so I'd keep McNichols out of there. Toney, has the upside to have those wide receiver 1 games where you got Boyd's limited, but he does get targets, so he might be a little safer play, but I go Toney, Boyd, McNichols.
Yeah, I would agree that Boyd probably has the safest floor of these 3, but Toney would have the highest ceiling. We got Mr. Bo in the chat saying Zuckerberg can suck it. Long live the football team. Yeah, our Facebook channel got shut down the other night because they said we infringed NBA copyright. It's a whole mess, but no, don't need to drag that along too much. We're still on the book on the personal page of mine, so we'll get back. Not too concerned. Appreciate the support though in the chat. Let's jump into our game time decisions. Well, actually, Emron, who is out for this week? I'm sorry, who is out for this week?
Yeah,
first?
No problem. So for this week, we have out. We'll start off with 2 guys not expected to play. It looks like Latavius Murray and Fant probably will be out today, not playing. We also got, sticking with the Giants, first off, we got the Giants are going to have no Saquon Barkley, no Sterling Shepard, and no Dante Pettis. So for our friend who was looking at people to start, makes Kadarius Toney that much more intriguing, no? And then obviously Jameis Winston, unfortunately, although he was dancing on one leg, he can't play on one leg. So he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Calvin Ridley's going to be out indefinitely, no injury, just, personal reasons. So hope to see him back on the field soon. And then a couple of tight ends we'll finish off with here. Blake Jarwin, Dawson Knox, and Eric Ebron are all probably going to be out this week as well. And also for the Bears, Damian Williams is not going to play as well.
All right. Game time decisions. We are looking at Kenny Galladay, Sam Darnold. He looks like he's going to be good to go coming off a concussion. CMC, I'm not 100% on, but they're still saying they're going to bring it down to the wire. But it's actually sounding a little bit more negative that he may not wind up playing in this one, but we'll see. Albert O, he's going to be a game time decision, which is interesting because Fant is going to be out this week. So if you're looking at maybe like a random DFS play or Far Cry in your flex, you may want to still hold off on Albert O. Just wait till the final whistle here. CD Lamb, Amari Cooper for the Dallas Cowboys. It sounds like they are going to be expected to play, but at what basis and what capacity? Cole Beasley, James Robinson, DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, Darnell Mooney, like you mentioned, going to be a game time decision. And then Matt, who do we have for expected to play today?
Justin, we got a lot of juicy names that you're going to want in your lineups. We're talking Tua Tagovailoa against Houston, smash start. Sammy Watkins, we get Bateman back. We're getting Donovan Peoples-Jones with no OBJ. Elijah Mitchell, interesting start there. Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, and, of course, Bobby Woods, baby.
Yep, Bob Trees. Let's go, baby. I definitely need me some Bob Trees today. Hurting from injuries. I'm missing Aaron Rodgers in COVID week with quarterbacks on bye.
Yeesh.
So Superflex is getting some non-quarterback players this week, unfortunately. But that's how we adjust. We got to get to it. So let's get after our starter sits here. If you have any questions that you'd like to share, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, please be sure to drop them into the chat, and we will put them on the board and get to them as soon as possible. First of our morning flex starters, we're looking at quarterbacks here. We're looking at Ryan Tannehill at the Rams, Sunday primetime game, or Teddy Bridgewater at Dallas, at the Cowboys. Which do you guys like? We'll start with Matt and come around.
Woo, this is it's a tough situation here. But you wanna believe in Tannehill, what he's done the last few games. And if Henry's gone, that pass work hopefully goes up. Hopefully not too many mistakes are made. I'll go Tanny here.
Okay, I sympathize with that. What do you think, Emron?
Yeah, you're taking the matchups out of it. It's pretty much Tannehill versus Bridgewater, right? So I got to go with Tannehill. Hopefully, A.J. Brown's playing. Hopefully, Julio's healthy. They can maybe do some work. I think the opportunities are going to be there because I think they're going to be trailing in this game, and they have the horses, like Matt mentioned, and maybe put up some points. And even if he gets an interception or two, maybe he can negate it a little bit with a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I'm going to agree with you guys. Just, again, the higher potential ceiling for Tannehill versus Bridgewater, who, while the matchup is really good up against the Dallas passing defense, I think they ranked 28th for passing yards allowed per game. So there's some upside there. You get Jerry Jeudy back, like I mentioned earlier. I like his props today, but I don't necessarily, trust the downfield throwing of Teddy Bridgewater as much as I do Ryan Tannehill. It's tough because obviously the Titans are missing Derrick Henry, so maybe they're in the red zone a few less times than we expect, but I still like them to put up more points even than Denver in a juicier matchup against Dallas. Garbage time. The Rams have been known to kind of let off the aggressiveness, the gas pedal late in the game, and allow their opponent to put up some numbers in garbage time. So I will go Ryan Tannehill as well. Very close one, this next one I have here. Jordan Love versus Kansas City, or Tyrod Taylor versus the Dolphins. Not the best quarterbacks, not the best situation to be in, but very good matchups for both quarterbacks. Matt, who do you like here?
Oh, I think I'm in love. Not yet. I'm going Tyrod, man. We've seen what he's done. That's the one thing with Love. We haven't seen what he's done. So before I'm ready to fall in love, I got to see it. I'm going Tyrod, baby. Whoa!
Fair enough. What do you think, Emron?
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with Matt. I'm going to go with Tyrod. When he plays, he's very adequate, right? He's very professional quarterback. He gets the job done. Miami's defense has some holes. So I'm going to go with Tyrod. Jordan Love, you just don't know. Like when we've seen him play in preseason, it's just he's not been good. I mean, maybe he's different game time action. It is the Chiefs defense, but, I have to see something before I put him in a lineup.
Yeah, I agree, and I liked how Tyrod looked before going down with injury with Houston. He looked like he had a very firm grasp on that playbook, very clicky with that offense. So I will go Tyrod there as well. I'll ask you guys this: Jordan Love over under 249.5 passing yards. I have no idea if that's his real prop. I just kind of want to get a feel what you guys expect from him in this game.
I'll go first. Actually, I'm not really that conservative that Love's going to get the yardage today. I think they're going to pound the rock. KC's not good against the run. So I could see this being a big Aaron Jones matchup where you see them run, 40 times today just to keep KC's offense off the field.
Sure. Big A.J. Dillon opportunity then for sure because they're definitely not running Aaron Jones into the ground. They're really creating some split work in that backfield.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the same thing, Matt. I think that Matt LaFleur is going to try to keep his opportunities from Love, try to keep it controlled as much as possible. And I think he's a pretty mobile guy too. So I want to see if they use that at all, have any reads or have him scramble out of the pocket. But I think they're going to try to keep KC off the field, like you guys mentioned. A lot of Jones, a lot of Dillon. So I'll go under 249. But I think most of it's going to be by design, where they're going to try to limit his opportunities.
Fair enough. I would take the under there as well. I would expect him to actually be more, or have more opportunity on the ground. I expect Love to do some damage with his legs as well, being that he's not a run-first quarterback, but he has that attribute, right?
Mobile.
So I expect them to design some plays for him in play action, roll out. Maybe he'll even extend a few plays. Kansas City passing defense is also really bad too. 22nd and 28th in the league for rushing and passing defense for yards allowed per game by Kansas City. They stinking bad. Tyrod Taylor, just more experience, like we said. Matt, we know what we're going to get from him, the body of work, right? All right, next up, we've got Cordell Patterson at the Saints versus Khalil Herbert at the Steelers versus Brandon Cooks at the Dolphins. Matt, you've got the Cooks prop. Khalil Herbert does have David Montgomery coming back, but Dame Williams out. I'm not sure if that's going to mean much. Seems like he's still going to be the guy there. And Cordell Patterson, even more upside now with Calvin Ridley being gone at least at minimum 3 weeks to the IR. What do you guys think here?
This is tough, man. I see the Bears hat down there, but I just saw Chubb get put down by Pittsburgh on Monday night. I'm thinking you're getting Matt Nagy back, so I don't know if that's a good thing at this point.
It's not. It's not.
So I'm fading Herbert in all matchups, in my opinion.
Okay.
You can't go against Patterson, regardless of the situation with Cooks. That's another volatile team that could blow up. You don't know when they're going to give up on their coach, whatnot.
Fair.
Patterson just seems like a lock. He seems safe, and he's got that upside. What is he, like RB8 on the year or something? So you got to roll him out every week. Yeah, crazy.
Wide receiver 14, RB8.
Wow.
Right? I don't know if that's those are the actual numbers, but
it's
just
probably
funny because he gets that cross
a lot of touchdowns
position designation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me, and of these three, I'd probably start off with Brandon Cooks. He's having a really good year and a really quiet year just because the Texans are, football hell, right? But he's been really productive, mainly being like the main target. So with Tyrod back, I think he's going to be a good matchup against this weak Dolphins secondary. Second, I'll go Cordell Patterson as well with Ridley out and teams basically taking away Kyle Pitts too, because that's the other second threat. I think Patterson is probably going to get some more work in the receiving game. He's great when he gets the ball in his hands, so I think he'll be good. Herbert, I'm not actually too worried about Herbert. I know the Steelers have a good run D. The best run D in the NFL is actually the Bucks, and there's only been one running back this year to run for 100 yards in the Bucks. It's Khalil Herbert. So I think they'll still try to run the ball there, but like you guys mentioned, big Bears fans, Justin and I are, but Nagy, I just don't know. But I think Herbert would be third just because matchup wise and with Montgomery coming back, just don't know what's going to happen there. So I'd go Cooks, Patterson, and Herbert.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert could very well get 80 to 100 rushing yards this week, but I wouldn't bet on him to find the end zone. I wouldn't bet on him to find pay dirt. They need to pass to him a little bit more. They need to pass to him a little bit more, get him involved in some third down work. The rushing attempts are there. That's what you like to see, and that's what got him over the number against the Bucks. I think he had, was it like 22 or 23 rushing attempts in that game?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the identity of the Bears offense is run, run, run. We rank 31st or maybe it's 32nd now in the league for passing yards gained per game. So that's our identity. So that's what you would like about the Herbert pick, but you don't love the matchup. You don't like that it's also on Monday night. Like you probably have some better options ahead of that you're probably going to watch, put up really good production. I'm going to go Cordell Patterson here. Against the Saints, I feel like they're going to need to be more creative, and a tool like Cordell Patterson that you can use inside, outside, running back, receiver, they're going to get creative with him and get him a fair amount of touches today. They also didn't give any touches like Russ Gage last week when Ridley was out, so they really seem to have a priority for Patterson, Davis, obviously Kyle Pitts, and even guys like Zaccheaus and Tajay Sharp. So give me Cordell Patterson there. Next up, we've got Devontae Booker versus the Raiders versus Chase Edmonds the 49ers, or Mike Williams at the Eagles. I like Mike Williams a lot here. I think that he still has the highest ceiling. I like the matchup for Booker as well. That's a very good matchup up against the Raiders rushing defense, but I still like Mike Williams even on the road. What do you think about this one, Matt? Where are you at here?
I think you hit it on the nail, man. The upside for Williams, even in a tough matchup to score. I mean, we've seen those big plays, and if he gets some more targets, even after having a couple down weeks, you can see Edmonds struggle against the Niners, especially with Connor working his way in. And then Booker, you don't really know what you got with the Giants week to week.
Agreed.
Yeah. So for me, I agree. Mike Williams, I think, is the best start because, with the Eagles, they have Darius Slay, who's still a great corner, but he can't cover Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I assume he's probably going to spend most of his time on Keenan Allen. So I love Mike Williams' chances. And like Matt mentioned, those jump balls down the field, I think he can have a good game. Second is a little bit tough for me because Booker has been, decent, filling in for Saquon Barkley. And Edmonds is starting to pick it up. He finally got his first touchdown of the season a couple of weeks ago, the last game. And with no Kyler Murray and possibly no DeAndre Hopkins as well in this game, I know it's going to be a game time decision, but from what I've heard, it looks like Kyler may not play and they're getting ready for Colt McCoy to play. I think that could be a lot more dump downs for Chase Edmonds, especially if Hopkins is not there and he's a great receiving back. So Connor will probably still have the rushing duties, but I think Edmonds could see a lot more work there. So I'll go Edmonds second, and then Booker, like I mentioned, Giants, you never know. Booker could easily go off for like 150 and 3 touchdowns today or have 30 yards. It's either or. You never know with that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a couple weeks ago, we were watching them at a 3-5 matchup by halftime with the Panthers, right? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Devontae Booker, he's got a good matchup, but it's really hard to just trust that offense in general. I understand. Chase Edmonds also has a good matchup, but man, I got to get some updates on Kyler. I thought he was going to be fine. I thought he was going to make it in the lineup here. Now you got me all scared. I'm going to be missing Kyler and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great combo.
That's a gut punch.
Great combo to have when they're on the field.
It is. Yeah. That's a gut punch.
Tough. That's tough. All right, next up here, we've got a couple receivers. Manny Sanders at the Jags, Jerry Jeudy at the Cowboys, or Darrell Williams versus the Packers. Who do you like here, Matt?
Ooh, this is just a sexy matchup all around for all these guys. It's hard to bet on Jeudy. I mean, hard to bet against Jeudy and Darrell Williams here. Golly, this is tough. Give me Jeudy. I like this matchup. Darrell Williams, I like his matchup as well. Manuel Sanders, God, I mean, this is tough. This is fantasy football in a nutshell. Yeah, I'll go Jeudy first. Like you said, those targets, I think they're going to be a bounce back this week, big time. Darrell Williams is a safe play. And then Sanders, I mean, I think he's going to bounce back. So there's no wrong answer, but Jeudy for sure.
Yeah, Sanders is coming off that big goose egg. It didn't wind up hurting me, but
Killed
it was
me.
very tough to stare at.
I lost by 2 points last week, and I could have used something from him.
Man, definitely didn't expect it.
No. Yeah, so I think, actually, even with just telling you guys how Sanders broke my heart last week, I'm actually going to go with him one, because prior to that week, he had been pretty clearly the number 2 receiver in that offense, had some really good games. And this Jags, I mean, this is one of those games when you look on paper, it's a 14-point spread. It's the Jags are overmatched. You don't want to overthink it, right? But I think the Bills also see their opportunity, right? They've dropped some games. They lost the Titans. The Titans are in trouble. They have a chance to take that lead in the AFC and get that coveted 1 seed. So I think the Bills are going to come out in a big way. And Sanders, I think, could do some damage. So I'll go Sanders 1. I'll go Jeudy number 2, actually. I do like the matchup against the Cowboys for him. I think this is his first game back, right?
For Jeudy, it's his second game back.
Second game back, I'm sorry. Second game back, so still getting the swing of things after some time off. But I think there's some opportunities against that Dallas D. I know everybody talks about Trayvon Diggs and the interceptions, but there's still some holes in that secondary that I think Jeudy can exploit. And I think Williams for me is a close third. I think for him, I just don't know the script of this game, how this game is going to go with the Pack. If it was Rodgers versus Mahomes, which I wanted to see at the shootout, but I just don't know. So I'm going to go with Jeudy ahead of Williams.
Okay, I agree with that. I like Sanders the most. I also agree with that as well. Just the upside, like you're looking at a team that has a 4-point spread right now, or 14-point spread. I'm sorry. Like the books are obviously expecting them to put up numbers. So I want to grab a part of that matchup. Matt, you're on Allen's prop as well, right? So he's got to divvy up that yardage to his receivers. So give me Sanders. Man. Yeah, give me Sanders on the pick here. Darrell Williams was losing ground to practice squad. Was it Derek Gore? Gore? Is there a relation to Frank? I didn't know who that guy was.
I think there is, right?
Another Alabama running back. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, but he was losing ground to him. I was like, what's going on here? All right. They need somebody to pound the rock up the middle. Apparently, it's going to be this Gore character. So I'm going to stay away from Darrell Williams. I want to see what's going on there. I expect the Packers to actually keep it close. We saw them have a very good game plan for the Cardinals. I assume that they can have, just the same type of success even without Rodgers. They were missing Adams last week. They're missing Rodgers this week. I'm sure they'll figure it out to stay close in that one. So I'm going to go Sanders, Jeudy, Williams in that one. Let's catch up with the chat here. We're flowing in with some questions. First up, we've got Nick Hobie. He's asking about Mitchell, Jerry Jeudy, or Tony in full point PPR. Mitchell still coming into this matchup questionable up against the Cardinals. I think I still go Tony here, who I prioritize in an earlier pick as well. Tony just, to me, has that big opportunity, being, not the wide receiver one, but he's playing like it. He's playing like the best Giants receiver there. So I feel like at full health this week, I know last week he stumbled into some production. He was questionable. He came in banged up. He even had that a clean pass. A 17-yard pass last week to Darius Slayton. So seems like they're incorporating him more into the playbook. I'll go Tony over Jeudy and Mitchell. Emron, Matt, what do you guys think here?
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, you're a gentleman guy. You're just a gentleman.
All right,
go ahead,
Matt.
Go.
I'll go. I mean, like you said, he's banged up, but Mitchell's getting 17 carries a game, man. You're looking at that workload. It is consistent. The things that scare me with Tony or Judy or Bridgewater are the Giants' offense. So I might be hedging my bet to the running back here. I mean, this guy, when he's played, he's produced. Give me Mitchell. I think matchup could be a little tough, but I'll take Mitchell and just for that upside of RB1 days.
Fair enough. Emron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with Mitchell as well. We talked about, I know, Kyler and Hopkins possibly being out, but the Cardinals also lost J.J. Watt on defense as well, so that's going to be a big blow to that defense. And the last time these two teams played, the Niners almost got them anyways, and they did lose that first game. So I think I like the Niners to run the ball a lot with Mitchell as long as he plays. That's my number one as well. And like Matt mentioned, when he's gotten the ball, he's produced very well. Second, I'll probably go with Tony again. I just think and part of me is kind of chasing his big play potential, right? You just never know. He could have a big touchdown. Judy, it's just me, I guess, liking Daniel Jones a little bit more this week versus the Raiders defense instead of Bridgewater versus the Dallas defense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I just like Tony's opportunity. I think he can get a handful of catches early in that matchup. Mitchell, because he was banged up. We know how the Niners like to use their triage of running backs. There may be a little bit more upside for a couple extra Trey Sermon touches. I think is Jermichael Hasty healthy now?
Jeff Wilson.
I heard about Jeff Wilson. Yeah,
big trouble over there. Then, man, they're really going to start to cut up those touches. All right, let's keep moving through the chat here. We got J2 Nice asking, need a QB for today. Really trust Murray if he plays, but the other options are Tua versus the Houston defense, Dan Jones versus the Raiders, or Tyrod. Man, these are a lot of options, my guy. Tyrod versus Miami or Teddy versus Dallas. We go Tua.
Yep.
I mean, just keep it simple. It's a great matchup up against Houston.
Yep, Tua.
You muted, Matt? Or that was it? Just a
no,
quiet
sir.
pump
Can
fake?
you hear me?
Okay, there you go. I don't know. You did this, so I don't know if it was a quiet pump fake.
Check. Omaha.
All right. So you got Tua as well?
Yes, sir. All day, every day. Tua time.
All right. So we agree. Yeah. Matt did bang that bell at the beginning of the show. Absolutely start Tua today, even on expected to start game time decision. We got Bars in the Tuck asking, good morning and happy football. With Rashad Bateman questionable, should I start Devin Duvernay? Ooh, wow, that's a tough ask. Full point PPR, 1 point for return yards. Okay, that definitely helps out with the return yards for sure. I don't know. I think if Bateman's good to go, I just fire up Bateman and keep it simple. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's pretty gross right there. I don't think I'm starting Duvernay unless I'm, what's that, like wide receiver 60, something like that.
Yeah, so it's pretty low.
Bateman would have to be out. Like, he'd just have to be out.
Yeah, you got no choice, but it's not sexy doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I start Bateman if he's healthy. If he's starting for the Ravens, he would be starting for my lineup. In terms of Duvernay, the return yardage points is definitely an interesting caveat, but still, I feel like you have to have a better option on the waiver wire than Devin Duvernay. I don't know, maybe like a Russell Gage, one of the Atlanta receivers, or somebody. I just feel like with him, even though it's the Vikings secondary, that's a big wild card.
So even with return yards, it looks like he averages 40 to 60 yards. So you're looking at let's just say 5 points, plus maybe one catch for 5 yards. So you're looking at like a 6-point floor, I guess, with maybe a 7-point ceiling, it looks like. So
yeah.
Right. And Bateman's been getting targets. I believe he's had 5, 6, and 6 targets his last 3 games. So I fire him up as long as he's healthy. And honestly, it just seems like, with the injuries that he was dealing with prior to coming back, they're just trying to rest him. Just trying to make sure he doesn't over aggravate anything and just try to keep him healthy. So I think he's still going to be a good play today. I trust him. All right. Next up, we've got J2 Nice asking, also got Eli Mitchell at flex. I got Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. I think that's Julio Jones. I think that's Marvin Jones. Should I switch him out with one of these guys? Eli versus Sutton, Eli versus Jeudy, Julio and Marvin. That's tough. I don't know. I feel like Julio is going to get a lot of Ramsey tonight. I feel like he's going to, because A.J. Brown's still questionable. I'm not sure. I feel like if A.J. Brown's healthy, I actually like Julio more. Same. I don't love Marvin Jones versus Trey White and that Buffalo defense. They're the best, I believe, up against the pass still. Sutton and Judy, that's tough. I think we just stay with Mitchell here. What do you guys think?
Yep, I'm the same way. You look at those other names, you're hoping for a big week, but you're probably going to get wide receiver 2, 3 numbers. So I'm going to stay with Mitchell and hope for the best.
I agree. I think this is one of those situations you don't want to overthink it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's keep it moving. We got Justin in the chat asking, start 1 QB and 1 flex. DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Darrell Williams, and J-Rob. Holding on J-Rob until I get like concrete, I want to know what his role is going to be, or I want a very firm picture on his bill of health, which I don't have just yet. Probably not going to know until about half hour before we kick off. So I'm holding him out. I think you got to start one of those RBs though. So I guess I go Darrell and then I go Waddle. It's just really tough to trust DJ Moore right now. I mean, the targets are there. There's a handful of catches to go around, but he hasn't found pay dirt in a while. And it's really tough to trust Sam Darnold, who we don't even know if he's going to start.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? We'll go with Matt and then Imran.
I think J-Rob's going to be out, from what I understand. It's going to be the Hyde show. So I think that's a lock. Your worries with Gore, with Williams worry me. I want to go Waddle here because of the touches, but I mean, it might be safer to play DJ Moore. I really don't think either one of those is a bad answer. I'd go Moore or Waddle. I'm leaning Waddle for this one play. So you have to start 1 running back and 1 flex. So you do have to start
one running back. Yeah, we can't start both receivers.
Okay, so I'll go Darrell Williams over. I'm going to say Hyde's playing, so I'm going Darrell Williams over Carlos Hyde.
Okay, easy one.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll go Darrell Williams for the same reasons, and I think I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle as well here, mainly because I love DJ Moore. But, with maybe P.J. Walker playing today, or if Sam Darnold's playing, he's banged up and he's not playing well. I just think he's suffering from bad QB play. So I'll go with Jalen Waddle with a good matchup and the better quarterback.
Hey, the numbers aren't bad for DJ Moore with bad QB play. There's so much more opportunity, right? Like that we could have such better weeks. I own him in a couple of leagues, and I'm sitting there frustrated every week watching what they're putting together on offense. Hopefully they can, revert back to like those first 3 weeks where they were just booming. But sounds like we're pretty settled here on Darrell and Jalen Waddle. Next up, we got Monty, Bateman, Herbert. Oh, Khalil Herbert. Jags wideout, start 1. Jags wideout, start 1. I don't know which Jags wideout you have. If you have all 3, Agnew, Laviska.
Yeah, Justin, if you're still in the chat, if you can clarify, that would help out.
That would. But I guess I go and Monty, is that David Montgomery?
Yeah.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's tough to start Montgomery there. I mean, he could have 5 touches. He could have no touches. We really don't know what we're going to get out of him just yet. I go Khalil and I guess Jamal Agnew. I don't know. That would be the Jags receiver to start this week. It would not be Laviska or Marvin Jones. What do you guys think here?
I think you go Herbert here because you do have the bye week next week for the Bears. So Monty, I'm not sure is a lock to play today. I don't love the matchup, but definitely I'm leaning on Herbert. I like Bateman, but I want to see more.
Fair enough. What do you think, Imran?
Yeah, I'll go Herbert because I think he's going to have a role regardless. And with Montgomery, just don't know how much he's going to play. And then I go Bateman second. Okay, Agnew. So I'd probably go Agnew third. I'll go Agnew third because I think the Jags are going to be trailing and chasing. And, hey, garbage time points count the same as regular time points. So I'll take what I can get, right?
Exactly. So I got to bang the Agnew drum, though, because I've been hitting on that on Fantasy Waiver Wire on our Monday show for the last 3 weeks, and his percentage never moves up. He goes from 2 to 4 to 7% across the last 3 weeks of ownership on Yahoo platforms, and I don't know what people are doing. I'm sorry. I want Laviska to be the guy. He ain't it right now. They are not feeding him the ball. It's very disappointing. Drafted him in a couple of spots expecting a lot more. Jamal Agnew's their guy right now. They're using him at running back, at receiver. He's kind of their Cordell Patterson right now, just the type of usage that he's getting. Very unique usage. Nick back in the chat asking Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, or Freiermuth. I'm going Freiermuth. I think that his role is going to expand even more with Ebron out. He's already getting the targets. Him and Ben have a lot of chemistry going right now. Obviously, they use that draft capital this year. I'm going Freiermuth hands down here.
2 great games by Freiermuth too. Over 12 or 13 points in fantasy. If we're going to get that consistency, I definitely want it. I'm liking Ingram a lot too. Like I said, we've said that for the last 3 years, where we like Ingram,
Right,
and then he breaks your heart. But I really do like this week. We'll see though. I'm going Freiermuth. Just play it safe.
Yep.
I agree.
I'm going with Pat Freiermuth as well. He's got a couple good games, and the Bears do struggle against the tight end, so that I could see him getting a touchdown this week. Because I think that's going to be a really nasty game tomorrow night. It's going to be really low scoring, and I think I just see him getting a touchdown for sure tomorrow. So I like Freiermuth.
All right, sounds good. We're all good there. And then last one here, we're going to get back to our picks and start going over our game previews. Really appreciate everybody tossing in the questions in the chat. Keep them coming. We'll keep answering. Eli Mitchell or Devontae Booker this week. I'm going Mitchell there. We've already talked about both of these guys. Yeah. I think the matchup is just better.
Mitchell. Yep.
100%.
100%. Okay, very good. We just talked about Freiermuth really quick. Pat Freiermuth versus the Bears or CJ Uzomah versus the Browns?
Freiermuth.
I'm going Freiermuth as well.
Yeah, it's close for me though. Uzomah's had some good games, but I think Freiermuth is the play.
Yep. And then our last one that we have to cover is Dalton Schultz versus the Broncos. Very good matchup. We actually saw Blake Jarwin now go to IR. Even more snaps available for Schultz. Or Kyle Pitts versus the Saints. Kyle Pitts also should have continued more opportunity with Calvin Ridley out of the lineup.
I'm going Dallas's offense, baby. Pump it up, baby. Dallas, tight end 5 on the season. You got to get hyped for this guy. He's getting fed the targets. And like you said, no more Jarwin. No problem, baby. Give me some Dalton Schultz.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
I like Dalton Schultz this week as well. I love Kyle Pitts, the player, but I'm getting worried that I think the other teams also know that he's the main weapon in that offense, and I think he's going to get doubled up. And until somebody else emerges, I think he's going to face a lot of problems with double teams. So I'm going to go with Schultz this week because Dallas's offense, there's just too much to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going with Schultz just based on the connection with Dak. Dak's playing top 5 quarterback numbers, if not the best quarterback this year so far. Their connection is super strong. I drafted Dalton Schultz with the second or third to last pick in my Scott Fishbowl draft. Been banking in on it every single week. I'm going to continue to do it again this week. I will start him over any rookie tight end. I don't care if it was Tony Gonzalez. I'm starting up Schultz this week. The matchup is too good. Connection is too strong with Dak. This one will be really quick because I already know our answer. Nick's back in the chat asking Bridgewater, Love, or Tyrod. I believe we are all going Tyrod here based on matchup.
Yep. That's correct.
Just given from our conversations already this show. Now let's jump into our game picks. We obviously have quite a few to go through. We got 12 games on the books or 13, whatever it is. First up, we've got the Texans and the Dolphins. Houston traveling to Miami. Viva Miami, coming in as road dogs, plus 5.5 on the spread, plus 200 on the money line. Over under in this game is at 46 points. Matt, we'll start with you. I think we all agree that the Dolphins will probably handle business here, but neither team is amazing. They're both 1-7. Do you trust the Texans to cover the spread on the road, or would you assume that Miami's going to blow this one up and maybe win by a touchdown or two?
I think they're going to cover the spread. I think Miami's defense is beatable too. Like we said, we're getting Tyrod now. I think you'll have a little bit more consistency. I could even see, Miami's played like shit the last couple weeks. So I could even see Houston winning this one. So I'm going, covering it.
All right. So you got the Houston to cover. What do you think, Emron?
Yeah, I got Houston to cover as well. This line earlier in this week, this was actually one of the best bets I wrote about this week on Wednesday. It was actually +7. So the amount of people hammering that +7 brought it down to 5.5. I still take that 5.5. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. And if you're giving me Tyrod and 5.5, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I'm going to take Houston to cover. Miami, 31st up against the pass and 19th up against the run for yards allowed per game. So I don't trust them. What do you guys think about what do you think about the over? We're at 46 points here. You have a couple of the lowest scoring teams in the league. You have Houston, who ranks 32nd in total score. You have Miami that ranks 29th. We're sitting at 49 points. We've got bad defenses. We've got mobile quarterbacks. What do we think?
46, Justin, 46.
What did I say?
49.
Oh, sorry, 46 points. Yeah, even lower. Do we have enough upside to hit the over here?
I think we do, guys. I think if you're going to bet against bad defenses, usually bad defenses are great for fantasy. Only way I could see this maybe not hitting is if Tyrod or Tua get hurt. But I think those two quarterbacks can put up points, especially against these defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if you look at Houston, they've put up points without Tyrod as well, even with Davis Mills.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with this one, it's kind of tricky, right? Two low scoring offenses, but at the same time, you have two bad defenses as well. So I expect a
Right.
couple of busted coverages. So I think we can get this over. It's going to be one where you sweat it out. It's not going to be one where they hit it right away. I think this is one you're probably going to be probably come down to the wire, but I think we can get 47.
Yeah, I like the over here. Both teams are 4-4 to the over, and with the offenses that they have, I think that's actually pretty impressive. So I'm going to take I'm going to take Houston to cover. Sounds like we're all good there. Matt, you seem a little bit more in on the upset for the Texans, and we're all in on the over. What do you think, Emron? Can the Texans play spoiler here on the road?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Guys, with the comments in the chat, we're going to come back to them. We're just going to go over a couple more games first. Try to hammer out some of these previews, and we'll come back and answer your questions. We promise. Next up here, we've got the Denver Broncos traveling to Dallas, coming in as big road dogs, +10 on the spread, +352 on the money line. Over under in this game is 49. Getting a little ahead of myself. I think that we all love the Cowboys here, but do we like the Broncos to cover? Keep in mind the Cowboys are undefeated against the spread, 6-1 on the year, 7-0 ATS. What do you think, Matt?
Ooh, that's a lot of points to be scored. I think the Dallas is good for about 30. So it's what's Denver good for? Are they going to come to play? Are they going to put up points?
Right.
But I'm going to go with the Cowboys, man. I'm going to go. Let's cover the spread. Yeah, I think this is. You just have to have a decent game by Denver, but I do like. Just be wary of the Dallas defense. Dan Quinn ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Emron?
Yeah, I'm with you. I love trends and when it comes to betting, and I like to ride a trend until they fall off. So I'm going to go with Dallas again. I love Dallas this week, especially if Dak's playing. I just think it's a bad matchup for Denver, who, by the way, gave up Von Miller this week, right? So that defense took a blow. Their secondary is still okay, but I think Dallas just has too much, and I think Denver's defense is going to suffer from fatigue in this game because their offense is going to have a hard time staying on the field. Give me Dallas to cover the 10, and I'll go with the under because I think, like Matt mentioned, I think Dallas can get you 30, maybe 35. I don't see Denver getting to 20. I think their cap is maybe 14, 17.
Yeah, I agree. I would put the Broncos at about 14-17. I don't believe that we're going to go to the over 49 points. Denver 2-6 to the over. Dallas just 5-2. Dallas has a top 5 rushing and passing offense. Denver defense is top 10. They rank 9th up against the run and 10th up against the pass. I just don't think it's enough. You might slow Dallas down for a drive or two, but I don't think that they're going to be able to sustain that across, all 4 quarters. Like you mentioned, they're losing Von Miller. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to cover. Why wouldn't we? They're 7-0. Right. They haven't missed their mark yet this season. So we're not losing any sleep over that. The money line, obviously, there's not a lot of value there at the -432 at home. So I think we take the under, and I think we chase the Cowboys to cover. I think both are going to be easy hits today. All right, next up, we've got the Vikings and the Ravens. Vikings traveling to Baltimore, coming in as road dogs, +6 on the spread, +222 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 50.5. I feel like that's the number that I like the most. The Vikings are going to be passing a lot. The Ravens have a really bad passing defense. Ravens have been, top 10 passing team? That's crazy. Top 10? Wasn't expecting that, especially with their hobbled receivers. Watkins hasn't been healthy. Bateman hasn't been 100% to start the year yet. So I really love the over here. But what do you guys think about the spread at 6 points? Do you think that the Vikings can cover on the road?
Ugh, that's scary. We've seen what Lamar's done. He was like, third by himself in total offense. I could see them putting up points against – I don't think Minnesota's defense is that good. I don't see Minnesota staying within 6 points. I think this could get ugly too.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Cameron?
So I think this game is going to be competitive. The line, if that's +6 right now for the Vikings, I'll take the Ravens to cover the 6. If it was 7 or higher, I would take the Vikings. The Vikings are one of those teams, they're kind of like the Steelers who we'll talk about a little bit later. For whatever reason, they play to the level of their competition. So last week against Dallas is a great team, but Dallas without Dak, I think Minnesota took them a little bit lightly and it showed. But when they play these teams that are a little bit better, they get up for those games. So I think this is gonna be a little bit of a shootout. I like the over in this game, but I think since it's only 6 and not 7 or higher, I think the Ravens can cover. And just a quick shout out to Lamar Jackson. I think no one's appreciating what this guy's doing this year. He should definitely be in that MVP conversation. It's ridiculous with all the injuries on that offense. That guy gets no love, no credit. And I personally have my fingers crossed. I would love to see Odell Beckham on the Ravens.
Ooh. Ooh, that's spicy, dude. Ooh.
Yeah.
He'll definitely fit in with the vibe in the locker room. That's for sure. But man, I don't want Odell Beckham to go anywhere and like that's a good place to be. Yeah, he just ruins people. He's I'm not saying he's
I
a
don't
locker
think it's
room
all
pants.
him though.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like you look at the time in New York, you look at the time in Cleveland, and there's just a lot of consistencies with the issues that are there, and you always see him at the center of them, right? Like, you know, when I think about him going to like young quarterbacks, like no, please don't do
But
that.
also, you have to look at the teammates too. Like this week, you had two young receivers in the Browns, like Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz, who's their rookie from Auburn. Both came out and said how much Odell helped them out this year, starting from
Oh, I'm
camp.
sure, yeah.
And I think, yeah. So I mean, you know, we'll see.
It's just when things aren't going well, you know, that's when you have to start, you know, being worried about those types of players in the locker room that are a little bit more talkative, a little bit more, you know, they're just friendly to controversy, you know, and I just don't want that around really good quarterbacks. Go to the Chiefs, Odell. That's it. Just go to the Chiefs. They need help. I promise you, they need help. All right, and this one, you know, kind of back to the Vikings and Ravens here. I'm going to take. Man, that's really tough with that number. I probably stay away from that spread, actually. Emron, you're talking about the 7. I like the Vikings actually on the 6. So if anything, I guess I would just buy the Vikings up to 7 or 8 and hammer that. That's what I would feel safe with, just because I still really like that matchup for Kirk Cousins and that passing offense. I expect him to be playing behind. It sounds like we all do. I imagine that they can keep pace here, even on the road. All right, moving on. After this matchup, we'll jump into some questions. Everybody that's being patient in the chat, we really appreciate that. Next up, we have the Patriots, traveling to Carolina, coming in as road favorites, -3.5 on the spread, -175 on the money line. Over under in this game is at 41.5 points. I feel like that's still really low, but the Panthers' defense has been very, very good. What do you guys expect in this one? We'll start with Matt.
We're supposed to get CMC today, correct?
That's what they're saying. We should probably get an update on that. Let me see if
that
I can.
First 3 weeks that we had CMC, Darnold was on fire. The offense looked good. So I'm hoping that if CMC's healthy, he's not playing a limited role. I think they're rolling him out. I do like Carolina's defense. I think with the Patriots going on the road, I don't think they're as sexy of a matchup as we think. So I'm thinking more points are going to be scored in this one.
Okay. I mean, 41 is not a tall number here.
No, I think
that
that's
Panthers.
easy.
Panthers secondary has just been elite, second in the league. And who did they just get back?
Stephon Gilmore and revenge game for Stephon Gilmore, by the way.
What about that?
Wow.
Revenge game for Stephon Gilmore.
That's true.
Like it.
Revenge does work both ways, though. It does work both ways. You know, Bill might have something special ready for him. We'll see. Mac Jones, I mean, I'm not saying he's lighting the world on fire, but he's like top 5 for on-target percentage at a quarterback position, and he's a rookie, you know?
Very efficient.
Trey who? Fields who? You know what I mean? Like, he's looking really good.
Well, I'm not going to get that far. But no, he has been playing well, and I like the Patriots in this game. I think it's going to be low scoring, and this really feels like a sneaky game where if McCaffrey plays, I think this can be a game that surprises a lot of people, and the Panthers actually pull out at home if McCaffrey plays. I think he's a difference maker where he moves the needle, kind of like him and Derrick Henry to me are very similar, two different types of running backs, but what they mean to their offense and to their team, I think is pretty equal. Like it's a different team with McCaffrey, just like the Titans are a different team with Henry. So if McCaffrey plays, I think I love the Panthers to cover and actually maybe even win outright. If he doesn't play, I'm going to go with the Patriots to win steady. I think they'll cover the 3.5, but I like the under in this game too. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Both teams have decent defenses, and if no McCaffrey, the offenses are okay, but they're not offenses where you're like they're going to drop late 20s or something like that.
I don't know, man. New England, they are 13th for passing yards gained per game in the league. I mean, I'm not saying like Mac Jones is better than Fields. Fields definitely has more raw talent, but at the end of the day, you're only as good as your team around you, right? I mean, if you looked at like the Bears preseason, you're like, oh, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, like Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? But
I just see the heartbreak in his face right now.
What's that?
The Bears, man. I mean, everybody was hyped for this team after what we saw with Trubisky.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy had been a coach that could lead you to the playoffs, And then we, just expectation-wise, I think we're all kind of hurt by Chicago this year.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's at this point. Yeah, we'll talk about the Bears a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely a bummer where they are now. But yeah, but what the Patriots are doing with Mac Jones, though, like that's the type of situation you love to see for a young quarterback. They don't have a lot of great weapons, right? But they're designing the scheme to help him out and get him transition. And give Mac Jones credit. He was the 5th quarterback taken in the first round. The kid's playing decent. He's playing decent. Mm-hmm. He's a rookie as well. And of the 5 rookies, he's probably playing the best right now.
Oh, hands down. Yeah. But again, you're only as good as the system that you fall into, right? Yep. Like that's at the end of the day, like you look at the 49ers. They actually seem like they have a good system for Trey Lance. It's just that he's not really hitting his mark, right? You look at Zach Wilson. The system ain't for him, man. That's just not.
I also think he was an incredible reach too. I don't think everybody was
true.
Understood. I think they really overhyped his one good year, and I think he was. Yeah, I think he was destined to be wish the kid good luck, but I was really concerned about him going to the Jets. I was like,
just say he's a fraud. Just say it. You're a fraud. Just say it. Poor Jets fans. All right, I am going to take the Panthers to cover if CMC plays. If he doesn't, give me the Patriots to cover. I'm just trying to keep it simple there. All right, let's catch up with the chat here. We're behind a little bit. Let's see. Let's get back to we got Breck PF in the chat asking Woods, Waddle, or DJ. Pick 2. I'm going Woods and Waddle.
I like it.
Tough to trust DJ.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Emron?
Woods and Waddle, yeah.
Yeah, we all agree Woods and Waddle there. We got Adam in the chat asking James Conner or McNichols. I'm going James Conner, trying to really keep it simple here. I don't know what I'm going to get from McNichols. I know the amount of touches I'm going to get from James Conner. Even if apparently Colt McCoy is playing in that game, I still trust Conner more. What do you guys think?
Yep. Conner's the goal line back. Give it to me.
Yep, I'm going to go with Conner as well. McNichols, again, we could be wrong. He could have a big game, but you just have never seen him in that light as the primary back. And so I'm going to go with Conner.
All right, then we got 808DOI3. I don't know if that's an AI or if you are a relative of Elon Musk, but A.J. Brown, Chase Claypool, McNichols in your flex. I'm going A.J. Brown as long as he's healthy. Like, sometimes you just have to trust your stars. Doing the same thing with DeAndre Hopkins today. If he's in, he's playing. That's it. So I'm going A.J. there.
808, baby. Claypool has been a disappointment. Just Pittsburgh's offense. I expected him to get open a lot more this season. He hasn't. I got to go A.J. Brown. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah, if A.J. Brown's playing, I go with A.J. Brown. If he's not, Claypool. It's a sneaky matchup, and the Bears defense gives up. It seems like every week it gives up these back-breaking plays, and I think it could be a Claypool one because he's a big guy, but he's got good speed as well. So I'm going with Brown. But if Brown's out, I feel good about Claypool.
I don't know if I love Claypool this week with I think he's getting Jalen Johnson territory. I think that's a very good matchup for Johnson. And I feel like Deontay's the guy there. I'm very happy that I don't have any matchups up against Deontay. For some reason, when I saw the Bears matchup, I was like, no DJ, please. No. And I'm going to look out of that. We got Brock in the chat asking, sup, fellas, Tua, Carr, Tannehill, or Danny Dimes, or for Brady at flex on the Brady bye and the Bucks bye week. Also, Cortland Sutton or Gaskin in the flex. I am going, that's tough. Trevon Diggs, Sutton matchup most likely. I guess I go Gaskin there. Very healthy matchup up against Houston. Rushing defense, piss poor. Tua, Carr, Tannehill, or Dimes. I'm going Derek Carr still. I can't stay away from him. They have a top 3 passing offense right now. Ruggs, no problem. Not worried about it. He's been hitting his marks with Renfro, with Waller. There's going to be more opportunity for Bryan Edwards downfield. Bryan Edwards is actually top 10 in the league for ADOT, average depth of target, even with Ruggs in the lineup. I expect them to use him more so as a downfield threat. So give me Derek Carr there. Still kind of a tough one because I also love that Tua matchup, and I kind of like that Tua Gaskin stack as well, but I still like the downfield opportunities for Derek Carr more.
Yeah, I love Gaskin here. I like Carr, but I've been disappointed with matchups in the past. Sure. I think I'm going to play the sneaky matchup with Tua if there's a week to start him. And if they're going to push the ball downfield like I think they will with Parker being out, I'm going to go Tua here. I'm going to go Gaskin. I'm going to believe in this Dolphins offense.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I like Gaskin as well. I think it's a great matchup. I think you can see the pay dirt as well. I love Gaskin in the flex. For quarterback, I'm gonna go with Derek Carr as well. He's been pretty steady for the most part this year. I think there's a good matchup, a lot of opportunity, and this is one where I think this could be a big Darren Waller game against that Giants defense.
Let's go. Get up that Darren Waller game. We need a big game from Darren Waller. Also from George Kittle. Shout out George Kittle coming back this week. Let's go.
Oh, nice.
Brock, that was the same question. So let's see. Whale to here says, what do you think? Who do you think Dino? Oh,
Dawson Knox. Yeah, and Dawson
Knox will come back to be a top 5 tight end. He's hurt, so I really don't know. He's got to get healthy first. I believe Tommy Sweeney is the play there for tight end in Buffalo. We got Adam asking Tua or Tyrod. Got Brady and Rodgers on the bench, of course, with oh god, that's very similar. I think we're all in on well, I don't know. We've both said good things about Tua. We both said good things about Tyrod. I think we go Tua here, right?
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, we're going Tua, keeping that one simple. We got 808 back asking Rams defense is going to make me nervous on AJ Brown, but Claypool has the Bears defense. Yeah, I still like AJ Brown more there. Like I said, I like Jalen Johnson to potentially lock down Claypool this week. We'll see. Might get a couple of big hitters. And then Nick was just saying thank you. We really appreciate you guys. We're going to jump back into our previews here. We'll jump back to you guys in about 4 or 5 games or so. Keep the questions coming in. We really appreciate it, and we will get to all of them. Promise you. All right, next up, we got the Bills, 14.5 favorites on the road in Jacksonville, minus 1,200 on the money line. Over-under is at 48.5 points. Big margin here on the spread for the Bills over the Jaguars. I'm taking it. I'm taking the Bills to cover, whether it takes them, the first half to cover this, 3 quarters, whatever. They're going to get it done. The Jags, they stink. They absolutely stink. They had a great opportunity last week to stick it to the Seahawks. Couldn't do it. I mean, a hobbled Seahawks team. I don't trust these guys on the road, at home. Give me the Bills, and I like the under 48.5 points. What do you like about this one, Matt?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. The Bills are the best offense in football. I mean, they've got weapons galore. Their defense is stingy. I think they cover everything. I think that it's just not going to be the high-scoring game we want. So, Jags don't look good. Same as you, Justin. I think you hit it hard and hit it fast. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Bills to cover here. I think I'm just not going to overthink it. They're much better than Jaguars. Jaguars are a mess, especially no Robinson this week. In terms of the spread, I'm going to go with the under. It's similar to what we were talking about with Dallas and with Denver earlier. I just don't know what you're going to get from Jacksonville. I think the Bills can drop probably well over 30, but I'm not even sure if the Jags, get to 14 points. The Bills, we're already halfway through the year. The Bills have 2 shutouts already this year.
Mm-hmm. The Jaguars total in my head is just like the number 12 is just sticking out at me.
Yeah.
Like a 30-12 game, something like that. 4 field goals. Kicker got a lot
Wouldn't
of practice this week.
Yep.
So Buffalo, number 1 in total scoring. Jags, 28th. I really like the under there. Neither team has a winning record to the over either. Jags defense, 28th up against the pass, 14th up against the run. There's no upside here for them. Hammering all Bills. Give me all Bills props. If I gave you Stephon Diggs, 7.5 catches, you taking the over, guys?
That's
I'm
tough.
going to take the under. I'm going to take the under. I like him right at 7, actually.
All right, there you go. I should work at a sports book. All right, next up we got the Browns and the Bengals. Again, in the comments, we're going to get back to you guys. Just give us some time to go through these previews here. Great matchup here. We got the Browns traveling to Cincinnati, not very far. Coming in, road dogs, +1 on the spread, +121 on the money line. Over-under is at 47.5 points. I feel like that number is too low. Both of these teams put up a fair amount of points. Both teams have had some really good upside from their defense. The Bengals have been sneaky. The Browns we're a little bit more familiar with, right? The players and big names that they have there. I like the Bengals to just outright win. I'm going to stay away from the spread, and I like the over 47.5 points. I think there's going to be plenty of offense to go around here in the Battle of Ohio.
Love it. Over 47 seems like a lock. And like you said, offense galore. There's a lot of weapons. We're going to get to see what Cleveland can do without OBJ. I think it could be a healthy upgrade, and I think this offense could really hit its stride, not having to deal with the drama.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals as well and the over. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game, but I love Joe Burrow and the Bengals to take care of business.
All right, sounds good. All in on the Bengals this week. really disappointing up against the Jets last week, but I feel like they're going to come ready to play here. Very aggressive divisional game, Battle of Ohio, etc. You got Joe Burrow trying to defend his home territory, Ohio boy. We'll see what we get there, but I like the Bengals a lot. All right, next up we got the Raiders and the Giants. Raiders coming in as road favorites, -3 on the spread, -165 on the money line, and the over-under is at 46.5 points. This is another one I really love the over, and I'm going to take the Raiders to just win outright. I'm going to stay away from the spread. What do you guys like? Matt?
Yeah, I think the Raiders will have this one easy. I don't trust the Giants defense or Giants team in general, so I'm staying away from this. But expect a big game from the Raiders, like you said, Carr.
Yeah, I like the over here as well. I think Derek Carr is going to have a good game, and the Giants, they're a really, feisty team. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they can cover that +3. And I think this will be a close game, but I think the Raiders will win late.
Yeah, Raiders are still 5-2. They're rolling right now. Better record than the Chiefs still. So 4-3 ATS as well. 88% of the public is coming in on them to cover. So seems like everybody's, liking the Raiders this week. Next up, we have Atlanta and the Saints. Got Falcons traveling to New Orleans, coming in as road dogs, +6 on the spread, +222 on the money line. It's another +222. That's a very fun number apparently this week. Over under is at 41.5 points. That's kind of a tough number, but I feel like we should be going over the total here. Do you guys trust that Trevor Simeon is going to be able to, keep this offense afloat?
I think the thing we've got to look forward to it is in New Orleans. So I think you've got to play that home field advantage. They do play rowdy. I think Trevor Simeon, Taysom Hill. I don't know if it's going to be that much of a downgrade from Winston here. So I'm liking them to put points on the board.
All right. You think they cover the 6?
I think they can, yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Emron?
I like the under in this game, actually. The Saints have a sneaky good defense. It's been pretty solid all year long. I think it was on display last week against the Bucs. The Falcons are in a mess, right? They lost their best weapon in Calvin Ridley. So I think in this game, I'll take the under 42. But I do think the Falcons will actually cover that 6.5. They'll still lose, but I think it could be like a 20-14 game, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going under the 41.5, then the Falcons would definitely have to cover. I'm not really sure what type of game flow we're going to get here. Is Simeon going to be looking to target his receivers downfield? Is he, just going to be trying to move the chains, dink and dunks to Kamara, maybe a little extra work for Mark Ingram now that he's back with the Saints? It's really tough to, to gauge that game flow. I guess I just go with the over just because I feel like the Falcons will still put up points. I feel like they can still put up 14-17, maybe even 20, and the Saints will still handle business. I don't trust these spreads though. The 6 points for the Falcons is really tough for me. I guess I still take the Saints to cover. I feel like Simeon may actually perform a little bit better than Winston. I mean, this is an offense that was still at the bottom of the league. They ranked 31st in passing offense. Like there's only room to go up, right? So maybe Simeon just gives them a little bit of a different look. Maybe we're having some Mike White vibes in that locker room this week. I don't know. So I'm going to trust the Saints here. I think they'll cover, and I think they'll push the number to the over. Money line, the value is just not great on either side. Do either of you guys trust the Falcons to just outright win?
No.
Yeah, it's really tough given their situation right now.
Yep.
So Matt's got to head out for the day. Says, got something else going on. No worries. We're going to keep it going here with our picks, but we really appreciate you coming by, sir. And doors always open. You just come back in whenever you like.
Take it to the Hizzy, baby. I love what you're doing, Justin, Erman. Dude, you guys hustle your butts off, and I appreciate you having me on, man. Anytime, I'll definitely have y'all on. So appreciate your audience tuning in and giving me their time. So thank you for everything, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Take care. Be well. Let the people know where they can find you and where they can find your content.
Whoa, Maddie Daddy. I'm at Fantasy Affair. I'm at Fantasy Football Network, NFT Draft, Clock Management. I'm anywhere and everywhere, guys. At Maddie Daddy FF on social media. Appreciate it. Like I said, we all grind our ass off in this community. Let's win some football games, and you guys got it on lock. So thank you for everything, Justin, Erman. I appreciate you guys.
Yep. Yes, absolutely, sir. Man. Appreciate you as well. Take care. Hope to have you back soon.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Later. Yeah. Everybody go sure to follow Matt Daddy on Twitter, Facebook, etc. Really appreciate him stopping by. You guys, or you have a good day, sir, rest of the day. Sorry about that. Brief interruption. We will get back to the chat here soon. We're going to finish up with some of these picks and get headed out for the day. We got about 5 picks left to go here. So next up, we got the Chargers and the Eagles. I don't know if you have live numbers in front of you, but I believe this game's a pick 'em. They're getting no odds on the money line.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me just check DraftKings and see if they've updated it. This morning when I was at the book, it was a +1, -1. So I don't know if they've trended down to a pick 'em as well, but I'll have that in front of them.
It definitely switched to a pick 'em, but now they've pulled the money line as well. So there's no value there whatsoever. We just got -123 for the Chargers, and we've got +103 for the Eagles on a pick 'em, and we have a total of 49.5 points.
Yeah, so at DraftKings, they still have the money line up. They have the Eagles as a +1 favorite at home and +100 on the money line. The Chargers are -1 and -120 on the money line.
I'm taking the Chargers pick 'em, and I'm taking over 49.5. Both of these teams put up points, and there's upside for both teams' offenses. So the Chargers will pass for sure. They're going to pass for a lot of yards on the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to run for a lot of yards on the Chargers. Chargers rank 32nd in the league for rushing yards allowed, and Philly they do rank 8th up against the pass, but the opponents haven't been as good as the Chargers passing offense. So I trust Herbert, Allen, Williams a lot this week. We kind of already talked about Williams in a starter sit position. So give me the Chargers outright win and over 49.5. Let's see. The Chargers are 15th in total scoring. Eagles are 13th. Plenty of upside for that total at 49. What do you think?
I'm agreeing with you. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with the over. I'm going to go with the Chargers as well to win. They've had some disappointing losses, right? Lost to the Patriots, got crushed by the Ravens. But I think this is a week that they'll bounce back.
All right. Sounds good. Next, we got the Packers and the Chiefs. Packers going to be without Aaron Rodgers. They are +7 on the spread, +270 on the money line, and over/under is at 48 points. I like the Chiefs to win, but man, the Packers, they've been keeping it close, and they had a very good game plan for the Cardinals without Devontae Adams. Do you think LaFleur keeps things rolling here? I mean, as far as like coaches, the start of their careers as head coaches, LaFleur's had one of the best.
It helps that he's got Aaron Rodgers, though, right?
It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
He was trying to get rid of him to save his life, but
Well, that wasn't him though. That wasn't him. That was Gutekunst. Yeah.
Okay.
But what's it called? This is really going to see how good of a coach LaFleur is, right? He doesn't have Rodgers this week. He's got to devise a game plan with Jordan Love. So we'll see how really good he is and how much of it was Rodgers. So I'd say I'm going to take the Chiefs to win. I think the Chiefs will cover a touchdown. I think that's a very reasonable spread. If it was double digits, I'd be a little bit worried, but I think a touchdown is fair. And I'll take the over as well. I think the Chiefs can score on the Packers D, and the Chiefs defense might give up a couple, but it really depends. The wild card is Jordan Love, right? Who is he? Is he a bust? Is he adequate, right? Is he in the next in the line of Packers quarterback? So I'll go Chiefs -7, and then I'll go the over as well.
It's tough for me to trust the over. We did not hit the over with the Cards and Packers. Is that right?
Yes, I think it was I missed by a couple of points.
Right. I feel like there's less upside with going up against the Chiefs to getting yards, offense. I mean, look what the Chiefs did in the second half versus the Giants. That was a great matchup for them. That was a perfect, get right situation. It's tough for me to trust the Chiefs defense right now. I will take them to cover the 7, but I'm going to take the under 48 points. I just don't trust the Chiefs to put up numbers, and I feel like, man, they may let the Packers stay in this game longer than they should. But yeah, based off of what I saw from them in the second half up against the Giants, I don't trust the total. So I'm going to stay under the 48. I will take the Chiefs to cover the 7. I don't feel amazing about it.
Right.
All right, next up, we've got the Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Cardinals coming in as road dogs, +3.5 on the spread, +152 on the money line. Over/under is at 45 points. I'm going to try to get a quick update on Kyler here. What do you like about this one? I think you had the 49ers actually outright winning, and that was with Kyler in, right?
Yeah, that was with Kyler in, just because I liked the matchup. I knew he was hobbled, but I didn't know he was going to be out. That was before the Hopkins news as well. So I'm going to continue to bang this one and take the Niners at home. Like I said, the Cardinals were fully healthy. This game came down to the wire earlier in the season. So I think all things considered, if they don't have Kyler, they don't have Hopkins, they don't have Watt, I do like the Niners to win another one back-to-back. And I'll go with the under as well. If Kyler's not playing, I don't see how the Cardinals are going to muster some offense.
That's fair. That's fair. So I did get an update on Kyler, and it says trending towards missing week 9. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I'm going to be left in one league without I'm going to have 2 leagues without starting 2 quarterbacks in Superflex. It's killing me this week, man. Killing me.
Yep.
49ers right now at minus 172. You got to make haste and get to that number because it's going to go up to minus 200 plus, after they announce, Kyler Murray potentially being out of this game. Yep. If he somehow flips the trend and plays, there's still a fair amount of upside for the Niners to take care of business at home. They're getting back George Kittle. Going to be a little bit easier for Jimmy to keep moving the chains. I'll take the under 45 as well. Without Kyler, it's hard for me to trust them. They're also going to be missing AJ Green. Not that that's like a big needle mover, but missing some personnel. You have DeAndre Hopkins also questionable, so it could be a long week for the Cardinals. Could be a long week 9.
Yeah.
Right, moving on, we got the Titans and the Rams. I see the questions coming in the chat. We're going to get back to you soon. Let's get through these picks, and we're going to close out the show with some sitter starts. Really appreciate the patience. All right, next up, we've got the Titans and the Rams. Really wish Derrick Henry was playing in this one. That would be all the fireworks in prime time, Sunday Night Football. But we got a 7.5 spread instead. This game would probably be down at like 2 or 3 points if Henry was playing. Yeah, Titans coming in, road dogs plus 7.5 on the spread, plus 280 on the money line. Over under is at 52.5 points. It's really tough to take that over 52. I feel like that's also a very tall number without Derrick Henry in this game. Yep. I really like the under. I want to stay away from the spread, though. I got to see the Titans and Adrian Peterson and McNichols, how they're divvying up the touches. It's really tough for me to lay any money on that spread. Even for the Rams, if you're looking at the number here, they're plus 105 to cover the minus 7.5. What's that all about? Are they trying to bait us? What? Where are you at here?
Yep. So I'm going to go with the Rams minus 7.5. I just think that team is humming. The Titans defense isn't very good. Their offense was good with Derrick Henry. You have no idea. Peterson's 38, 39. He's up there in age. McNichols, we have no idea what we're going to get. So I'm taking the Rams, to cover the 7.5. And then I'm going to go with the under as well. It's just too many questions on the Rams. Not the Rams, on the Titans offense. I think the Rams will get there. I just don't know what the Titans offense is going to look like. If they're one-dimensional, I think Von Miller is playing this week. So Von Miller, Aaron Donald, yes. Rams. Yeah, Ron, it could be a long day.
Yeah, the Rams, there's opportunity to throw on them. They rank 21st up against the pass, but, you still need to move the chains on the ground, and they rank 11th up against the run. We don't know what we're going to get from them. Are they going to be, creating some weird handoffs for fullbacks or tight ends? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be creative. I expect that. I expect Tannehill to have a decent game. It may not be amazing, may not win you your fantasy week necessarily, but it's really tough on that spread at the 7.5. Plus 105 for the Rams to cover it. They're just trying to mess with us, apparently. I guess I'd take that, the 7.5 on the Rams. Their passing offense, even Henderson with their rushing attack, been very consistent, very, very solidifying, but I am taking under 52.5. That's my best pick here. It's really tough for me to trust that spread. Yeah. All right, next up we got the Bears and the Steelers. Monday Night Football. Bears coming in 6.5 dogs on the road, plus 245 on the money line. Over under is crawling to the basement. We're at 38.5 now. This number was at 39.
It was 39 this morning when I was placing my bets for the week. This seems to be tough. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, and that's why I like the Bears to cover the 6.5. So I got some interesting trends for this game. The Steelers have won their last 19 home Monday Night Football games. So 19 in a row at home on Monday night.
So you're telling me to do.
Well, there's two things, though. There's two trends. There's one more trend. Mike Tomlin is 0-3 versus the Bears. He's never beat the Bears.
Might beat the Bears.
Yeah, and so, and I just, it's an interesting game. I think it's going to be low scoring. Even at 38, I still like the under. I think it's going to be very low scoring. Like, I think it's going to be like a 17-14 type of game we're looking at. But what I think is what we're going to need to do here is so my plays are going to be the Bears plus 6.5. So I think, like I said, my gut is just low scoring. So if there's not a lot of points and you're giving me 6.5, I'll take it. It's just, I think the Steelers right now aren't that great, but I think they're better than the Bears. And it's just, I don't know what the Bears offense is going to be. You got somebody like Allen Robinson who's non-existent, right? Supposed to be a top 10 receiver, non-existent.
He's on Mars.
Yeah, it's just I have no idea what's going on with him. So I'd say the Steelers will win, but I'll take the Bears to cover 6.5, and I like the under.
What I'm looking for right now, everything you just said made sense, especially with the total and the spread, right? You look at that 38.5, then you look at a big spread. It makes sense to just hammer the Bears there, right? But what I want, and because this is what I've seen from the Bears in the past couple of weeks, is they have played amazing in the first and second quarters, right? They've come out and they've played very well to start their games. They're not finishing. They're not playing well in the fourth quarter. What I'm trying to find right now, and I don't know why it's not coming up, is the first half spread. Give me the Bears in the first half spread. I don't want anything to do with their full game spread, because they come out, they follow the game plan. There's a lot of manufactured touches for guys. There's a lot of manufactured drives for Fields. They've just looked better through three quarters, and they're not looking very good in the fourth quarter. So I want to take the Bears at whatever their halftime spread is. Maybe I can. Oh yeah, here we go. First half. I've got the Bears in the first half at plus 3.5. Give me that. Maybe even buy it up to the plus 4. And I now feel really comfortable with that. And, even the first half total at 19.5, I'll take that under as well. Like 14. No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, whatever. I'll still take it. Give me like a 10-7 first half, something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it. But to my main point, Bears are playing better in the first half. They've blown some opportunities late in games. Still have a young, raw quarterback there developing. Give me the Bears at plus 3.5 on the first half.
Yeah, I think so. I think they start off well. I think one of the stats I remember, I think it was last week, I think on first possession touchdowns, I think they're like in top 10 in the NFL. So as shitty as the offense is, for whatever reason, when they get the ball first, they ended in touchdowns. There
you go. So I like them to start the game well. They may not finish it so well. Again, it's a late one on Monday on the road in Steel City. Crowd's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a rough environment still too.
One thing I wanted to add, the Steelers are another one of those teams that, even though they're well coached, they have one of the best coaches in football. They have a trend where they play to the level of their competition. So if they have a team that's coming in that's like the Bears, it's 3-5, really struggling, lost 3 in a row, you could see them make mistakes, make mental errors that they normally wouldn't. False starts on fourth down, bad holding, delay of games, wacky turnovers. So just going with the gut. I would not shock me if the Bears won. Not expecting it, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
I got no money line value right now. And actually, this morning when I logged in, it was like 5:30 or so. They didn't even have the game on the board. They just left it off. So
weird.
No money line value right now, but we'll definitely give you our picks tomorrow night. Me and Steve will be here for Bears and Steelers. You're gonna be a little busy, right? You're gonna be a little busy.
Yeah,
you'll be a little busy. No worries. We got Nick back in the chat saying thanks for all the advice. Really appreciates it. We got Tony or Renfro, full point PPR. That's tough. Same game too. Renfro, new wide receiver 1 territory. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Renfro. I think he's just gonna rack up the catches. I think he's gonna have like a 6 catch game. Not a lot of yards, but he'll rack them up.
Right. There's just less mouths to feed in that offense.
Yeah.
We got Andrew in the chat. Andrew, still hope you're here, sir. Being patient with us. We appreciate it. Kittle or Gesicki, that is tough. I think I go with George Kittle. If he's back, he's back.
I'm going to say Gesicki. Gesicki's been a sneaky productive tight end this year, and it's a great matchup. And Kittle's coming back off of injury. You don't know how he's going to be. Are they going to ease him in? Are they going to play it safe and just run and try to get out of Arizona and beat the Cardinals with a win? But Gesicki, I think it's a bad matchup. I mean, it's a bad matchup for the Texans trying to guard him, and he's been really productive this year. I think he's 3rd in the NFL in catches for tight ends, 2nd or 3rd. He's top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. But when I look at that 49ers team, I look at a hobbled Debo, a little beat up Elijah Mitchell. They might need to, spread the ball around a little bit more and get Kittle involved early and hopefully often. And if they're bringing him back, he's got to be good to go, right? Nothing that I've seen is saying like, oh, it's going to be limited basis. It's like, oh, he'll get a few touches. They're going to feel him out type of situation. Seems like he's going to be good to go. So for the draft capital that you probably spent on him between the two, I'd probably still go Kittle there. Maybe you can start both of them. I don't know. Maybe your flex.
If you can flex one, I think if that's an option, I would do that.
Yeah. I did that last week. I flexed Ertz and I think Dalton Schultz.
Oh, nice.
Next up, we got Anna Chow in the chat asking Boston Scott, Manny Sanders, Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers has a tough matchup, probably Stephon Gilmore territory. I think I like Emmanuel Sanders there the most. I still don't know what the Eagles' running back room is going to look like this week. They promoted John Hightower. They have Jordan Howard. They have Kenny Gainwell. They have Boston Scott. Me and Nick Sirianni.
Jalen Hurts runs.
Yeah. Hurts runs. Yeah, we're not pals. Me and Nick Sirianni anymore. It was the whole Gainwell thing was cool when you were making it a cool thing, But now, like, Sirianni's just trying to make fetch a thing again, like with these guys, Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, are killing me.
I'm staying away from the Eagles' backfield. I don't trust it at all. I really can't. You cannot start any of them with any confidence. You could start Howard because of what he did last week, and this week he might have 0 carries. So I'd stay away from the Eagles altogether. I'm going with Sanders, best offense of the 3, best matchup of the 3, best quarterback of the 3. Right? It makes too much sense. And I think he's going to bounce back from that stinker last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get that sour taste in your mouth from the goose egg, but I think it'll be a good spot for Sanders to rebound. And you could even see Allen target him early because of that lack of production last week. You know what I mean? Like,
he did have 4 targets last week. It's not that they didn't try to go to him. It just didn't connect. You would have wanted more targets. But
then I was just going to say they got into a situation where they didn't need to, right?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
We have a little con action this week, it looks like. Playing Emron in 2 fantasy leagues, so I can't ask for any advice today. Well, that's not true. I'll help you beat Emron.
I won't.
I need to beat him. Or no, you already beat me in that league. We played week 1. I was going to say we're like neck and neck in our dynasty league.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would. Shout out to Zeke and Gibson.
Yeah.
Actually, what it's been for me in that league? It's been the IDP players have been swinging it for me. They've been like the guys. Like I had a pick 6 1 week with Roquan. And then I had one with Byard the following week. I started Donovan Peoples-Jones that week. He had like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I've just been getting lucky. But it's been fun. I like the IDP format.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got to do some more of it. We got the cell phone bazaar in the chat asking AJ Brown or Jalen Waddle. That's a tough one. You got to know AJ Brown's status. Right now, the way it would look like, the optics would probably lead you to Waddle. But I feel like we're probably going to get good AJ Brown news by the time the 1:00 games start, and that's probably going to push me to start AJ Brown over Waddle. That's the tough one.
It's tough too. It's the tough part too, Justin, is like you mentioned, they play at 2 different times. One plays at 1 plays at 8. So if you go with Brown and he's out, what are you doing? Starting Josh Reynolds, Van Jefferson, right? Or one of the Bears or Steelers receiver, you might be stuck. So I think this week, I think AJ Brown's definitely better than Jalen Waddle as a player. I think the matchups, though, are even, where I think when you factor in the matchup Waddle has versus Brown being more talented, placing the Rams, Henry, I think I'd go with Waddle either way.
Yeah, I think Waddle's probably the safest pick there. But again, wait till you get, a full view of the image.
Wait.
You gotta wait till all the information comes in, and then you can make your decision from there. Let's see. He says he's iffy on AJ Brown because of Ramsey. Yeah, of course, but Ramsey could also get Julio. You're not really sure how they're going to match that up.
Get Julio because Julio's going to be healthier.
Yeah, I don't think Ramsey can stay on either one the entire game.
No. I think he's going to move around.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stick around here for another minute or so if you guys want to fire off any last moment sit or start questions. I'm pretty excited about this week. Not so excited about the Bears matchup on Monday night, but we're playing in prime time. That's always fun, right?
Yeah. Justin Fields' first primetime game.
Can't hate on that. Good.
Yeah, and by the way,
interviews.
Yeah, by the way, just a little bit because I was at the game last week. Just want to talk about that a little bit. It was really cool being back in a football stadium again, packed stadium, a lot of energy, a lot of goosebumps, good time. Seeing that Fields run. He had 2 runs, actually. I was on the other side of the field when he had that crazy touchdown run. Yeah. But he had this nice little run where he spinned right out of a Fred Warner tackle, like 5 feet in front of me, which was great. Great to see. Just, I'm hoping that one of the things I've been watching with him, not to go on a Bears rant, but like, I just hope one of the things they focus on is getting him better weapons in the offseason. Because one of the things I've noticed, it's just frustrating, is that, everybody's like, oh, where's his touchdowns? And you see the amount that have been dropped. I can count probably 4 or 5 touchdowns this year. And I'm not talking about like 50-50 ones because that number would be higher. But he had one last week to Cole Kmet. I understand Cole Kmet was on Fred Warner, but that's a tight end. That's a catch. A good tight end can make, or at least create a personal foul penalty, right? Like say it's a holding.
Was that the one that went low? It was kind of like around his
No,
knees.
No. It was around his arm. He had Fred Warner was 1-on-1. It would have been it was a back shoulder throw, and Fields put it on him, but that didn't happen. And then the touchdown interception late. The Bears are down by 10. Fields had to gun it downfield, but again, even though he threw it downfield, it hit Mooney in the hand. So I understand you can't catch it, but you can't get it intercepted. So, and it's just been puzzling to see like Al Robinson just on a milk carton. Like it just makes no sense. Like how has this guy been so productive with Andy Dalton, with Nick Foles, with Mitch Trubisky, with Blake Bortles, and this is the most talented quarterback he's ever played with, and they're just running these stale routes. Like everybody's just running a curl route, right? Like no jump balls. Like you have Marquise Goodwin, Bashad Perriman, Damiere Byrd. You're not even trying to go downfield, which if it gets intercepted, who cares? They're not going to the playoffs. Like you need to do something like to try to stretch these defenses. So that's my big trend.
To me, the play calling is still very bland. Like you mentioned with the routes that are being ran, like that's a part of it. They're not really doing anything that unique, that creative. It's all just we're going to run, pass. We're going to run, pass. And it kind of brings me back to like the Cutler years. You know what I mean? Like that's like all that we were doing. We were just constantly telegraphing our play calling. And obviously it's not working. I mean, like this regime, this staff, GM, whatever, they all got to go. I actually thought that Pace would have been able to keep his job for next year if he actually did fire Nagy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they lose this week to the Steelers, that's the last straw off the camel's back. Like, do you know Mark Trestman beat Mike Tomlin? Do you have any idea what's going on in this place? You know what I mean? Like,
so did John Fox with Mike Glenn.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, what frustrates me is I don't know if if they keep Pace, because do you really give Pace the opportunity to select his third head coach when he's the one that's constructed this offense, right? Like it's just this line is shitty. We knew it was going to be shitty. These weapons, like you got these guys, like it's not Madden where you have like 5 guys with 97 speed, right? Like you have to be able to translate that. Like I was excited to get Marquise Goodwin. I was like, oh, you got a burner. Like Damiere Byrd had a good year last year. Like Cole Kmet, like and then you make these stupid decisions, which is why I don't like Pace. You paid $11 million for Jimmy Graham for what? He's got one more catch than you and I, and we're not in the NFL.
Yep.
Through halfway through the season, it's just like it's just that money could have been used elsewhere. It's just
I say the same thing about Foles' contract as well. Both of those guys are holding up, just unnecessary cap.
You want something funny? This is why the Bears offense sucks. Here are their top 4 players, the 4 highest played players in the Bears offense: Jimmy Graham, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, and Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's a stud, but he's not doing shit this year. But like that's the problem. Your 2 backup quarterbacks are making that much money, and your tight end, who's probably the worst of the bunch, because I personally, Jesper Horsted and Jesse James, I love when they're on the field. Like, they make plays. Like, they make tough catches. Like,
exactly. Like, look at James had got a touchdown last week. Like, I mean, if that's not Jimmy Graham, he should have been cut prior to the start of the season. Like,
it's just, and it's one thing if they were using him, because last year he did have 10 touchdowns. So I was like, okay, if he's a red zone threat, okay, it is what it is. But it's just so much stupid stuff. Like, I remember the best example was week 1, when they were playing the Rams. The one play on offense that looked good was Jalen Ramsey basically bullied the Bears offense the whole game, right? The one part where he struggled was when they put Jimmy Graham on and Jimmy Graham bullied him back because Jimmy Graham's so big. He ran like a 15-yard in route. They never tried that again, which was like, why would you not? Like, if you can get him off of the field and go to Robinson or Mooney, like, it's just, common sense stuff like that. And then when you see these teams like the Jets, right, who suck, but their quarterbacks are dropping 300 yards, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, right, with the Mike Whites, the Josh Johnsons. And this is against decent teams, right? The Bengals, they beat the Bengals. The
Colts defense ain't nothing to sniff at.
No, exactly. With with Darius Leonard and the guys, and so it's just, yeah. So it'll be interesting. But once we get Brian Daboll next year, I'll be a happy camper.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, we got a long way to go here for sure.
Well,
I asked Steve this the other night on the show. What do you think about? I don't think they'll actually do this, but if you were the Bears, whether it's Pace, a new GM, whatever, would you still try to make a move for Russ Wilson? Would you offer up the kid?
No, absolutely not.
No? Okay, stick with him.
Because
fair enough.
Yeah, because I think, and this is the first time I used to talk to. Funny enough, I used to talk to Sarah about this all the time. Like I remember when they had Mitch, I would always be like, "Fuck, man, we could have had Mahomes, we could have had Watson." Since they got Fields, I've never thought about that once. I believe in Fields. I think he's got the ability, and so I would rather have him because, as great as Wilson is, like you have to give up picks that you don't have for him, right? You have to pay that fat contract, and you're in salary cap hell, and like you can't compete further with him. Like I don't think the quarterback's the problem here. I mean, yeah, he's going to learn. He's going to make rookie mistakes. I know he's going to do that. He's going to throw interceptions where I'm like, what are you doing? But it's the part of the territory. The problem is I don't know how, Wilson fixes the offensive line, right? If you don't have those picks and if you don't have money, and how do you upgrade the receivers? Because I think the receiver room needs an overhaul too. Like, what sucks is I think they're going to waste most of the Fields rookie contract trying to rebuild the team. And I don't think they're going to be competitive for another 2 or 3 years. I'd love to be wrong, but yeah, I mean, unless they start unloading some of these defensive guys, like, sucks to say, like Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson. And,
that was my next statement, yeah. Was Khalil Mack is probably gone at the end of this year, I would assume, with Allen Robinson.
Yep, I think so. I kind of wish they had traded Allen Robinson at the trade deadline. Everybody was like, oh, you get a compensatory pick. They're probably not going to get a compensatory pick because if you let a player go for a big contract and then you waste a lot of money signing other people, it cancels out. So I would love to see him just trade him to someplace like Baltimore or New England or the Niners or somebody that needs a receiver. Get like
somewhere where we can drive and see him play.
Basically, yeah. And that's another guy, like, I'm sure people tried, but, like, that's another guy I think would fit in perfectly with the Ravens. I think that's the exact receiver Lamar needs. A big guy, get the ball, get open, tough catches, and he makes those speedy receivers better. But, we'll see. I'm going to, not be totally sour on the season. We only get 9 more games left, so I'm going to enjoy all of them. And it's going to be exciting to watch Fields develop because I think he's going to have some big games coming up because their schedule does get a little bit lighter. I mean, they had a really hard-ass schedule. If you look at the teams they played this year and the records of those teams, I think it's the hardest record in football. The Rams, the Bengals, the Raiders, the Packers, the Bucks. And now they play the Steelers and the Ravens. So, oh, yeah, we beat the Bengals. And the Raiders.
They've beaten a good team every now and again.
By the way, the Raiders and the Bengals both beat the Steelers.
Hey, there you go. Hey, and the Steelers or Mike Tomlin's never beat the Bears. Hey, we got things going our way. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Monday's going to be great. It's going to be good.
It'll be fun. It's Bears in prime time. It'll be fun.
We're going to cover that first half spread. Let's go. All right. We don't have any more starter sit questions. We are going to get out of here. Do you have anything else to close it down with, sir?
No, sir. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yep. Take care, be well, be good. And if you can't be good at it. We'll see you later.
Bye.